Fillers for lips from Russian to French with Indian in between. Thank you, the organizers, for inviting me here and giving me this topic to speak on. Good evening, respected chairperson, sir, my friends and colleagues. We as Indians are relying upon the French as well as Russians for our defense, but we are still developing our own combat vehicles. I feel the similar is required for the lips as well. Our own actresses, our own heroines, our own models, our own influencers, they all have different lip shapes. And I feel it is the need of the hour for an individualized approach. An individualized approach is needed to make us stand apart. I'm Dr. Vikramjeet Dhingra, based in Mohali, practicing as a plastic surgeon at my clinic, Bodysculpt. For assessing the lips so that we can provide an individualized treatment, I use the acronym of ART, where A stands for assessment and P stands for the PESA and PIAS of the patient, how much he wants to spend and what does he want. Again, A would stand for the anatomy of the patient, R for rheology of the filler which we are using, and T for the treatment plan which we make, whether it is surgical or non-surgical. In assessment, the acronym which is used by our clinic is facades. However, there are also lip assessment scales available and we can rely upon any of them. For the acronym facades, it is basically the facial shape, gender specific, asymmetry, contours and proportions, aging and age-related assessment, drug therapy, or any other treatment history, emotional and expressive attributes, skin quality. Now, how does the F or the face shape influence a lip filler choice? It's different faces, the oval face, round face, square face, triangular long face, or heart-shaped face, depending on what shape the patient has. The oval is the most versatile, works well with classic or heart-shaped or Russian lips, depending upon the features. The round face is having fuller cheeks, so natural lips with subtle central volume to exaggerate width are really nice. They work well with round face. Square face, they have strong jawlines, so an added sharp cupid's bow like in the Hollywood lips is very nice. It goes well with the square face. For triangular face and heart-shaped face is the Russian lips or full lips with roundness, which can go well. Pearled or bottom-heavy filler lips also suit the heart-shaped face. The gender, males, females, and transgenders, they are all into the rejuvenation of skin and lips as well as the face. So we need to be aware about what are the expectations, what race does the patient belong to, what is his cultural background, and what are his expectations. Aesthetic goals in men do have little subtle changes in their mind while they come for getting their lips done. The anatomy is also slightly different because there is generally a flatter cupid's bow, wider mouth structure with thicker skin and stronger muscle tone. While we take this into account, we also see whether the original lip is full, whether it is of medium volume, it is thin, whether it is very full or very thin, depending on what sort of original architecture of the lip is, and also seeing if the patient has desires in terms of fullness, contours, etc., or is he keen for very minute changes. We should be careful what is to be done for the patient. For facades A and C, we need to be careful that yes, any asymmetry, any contours and proportions should be considered while we are analyzing and assessing the lip for the improvement. Various lip shapes could be natural, could be pointy natural, thin with some cupid's bow which is very sharp, or it could be a unilip with hardly any cupid's bow. It could be sort of a bee stung appearance where it's like swollen with a lot of edema. It could be smeared lip with the extra lipstick trying to widen and achieve a glamorous look. So depending on what the original architecture is, we again would see if we need to give him the balanced look, a defined look, a pouty look, a phi ratio, or a flat projection, and accordingly we can plan what we are going to do with the lip. The anatomical zones on the lip, they are marked if required. There are 15 anatomical zones which are mentioned in the lip. The proportions are studied for the lower third of face as well as the full face. It is studied not just in the vertical height but also in the horizontal heights, and there are certain ratios which are reasonably well defined for Caucasians, but for India it varies from patient to patient. So we have to measure and see what would suit in our patient. The aging changes for the lip, they are involving the cutaneous, mucosal and osseous tissues. There is a drooped cupid's bow, flat lips. There are lengthened upper lip, mouth is more wider, and there are drooping mouth corners. The labial mucosa as well as the perioral area needs some rejuvenation to make the lips look nice and appealing. The age affects in the early 20s, it affects your lip filler choices. In the early 20s or 30s, you would like to go in for more volume, symmetry, definition, nice animation, while in 30s to 50s, we would prefer to restore structure, reduce lines, correct any asymmetry. In older lips, we would require very careful volume placement to avoid any distortion, to avoid any lumps or bumps, and emphasis should be on hydration and structural support. While we go ahead with our facades further, we need to have a look at any other disease which the patient is suffering from, any facial palsy, any herpes, any autoimmune disease such as scleroderma, or if the patient is on anticoagulant therapy. Any emotional and expressional attributes like animation should be studied, like smiling and making a pout, as well as while the patient is talking. The skin structure, it influences the lip filler technique, so we should be careful if it's a very thin-skinned lip, or if the elasticity is too lost, or if the subcutaneous fat is huge or less. Dependingly, we'll fashion our treatment plan. Ultimate goal is to stay within the triangle of happiness. Triangle of happiness, the apex is what the patient wants. How much of money he wishes to spend is the second apex, and what we can safely deliver without causing any complications is the third. If we remain within this triangle, the patient remains happy. It is the P of the apart which sets us apart from the Russians and French. It is the paise and pièce. We need to assess how much the patient is happy to spend and over what time. We also need to know what are his aspirations and expectations out of his investment. The anatomy is looked into, the various structural points in the lip, they are described in the diagram, and I believe as we are all injectors sitting here, this should be a common knowledge for all. The orbicularis oris, however, I would like to describe as it has been recently described as having 8 parts. Earlier it used to be having just 2 parts, but now it is described at the upper lip, the lower lip. They have the upper orbicularis oris and lower orbicularis oris, then right and left orbicularis oris, and each part is further divided into pars marginalis and pars peripherales. The pars marginalis is the inner part of the muscle within the vermillion, which contributes to lip shape and eversion. Pars peripherales is the outer part of the muscle surrounding the margins and is involved in wider range of lip movements. The elevators of the lip as well as the depressors of the lip we need to be aware about. The muscles are supplied by the superior labial artery, the inferior labial artery, the infraorbital arteries, and sensory innervation of the lips is provided by the infraorbital nerve and mental nerve. The motor innervation is provided by the facial nerve responsible for controlling the myomatic muscles. The rheology in our standing apart is knowing our product, how we are going to inject and what we are going to inject. This is very important because if we need to have a very flexible or a very firm product to give definition or to give a natural appearance has to be decided looking at all the previous anatomical features which I just described. We have to choose whether we are going to inject with a needle, with a cannula, or with both, or also some certain non-needle injection techniques available. Once we are through with our A, B, A, and R, the next is the T, which makes us stand apart, and T is the treatment plan. We have to look for the lip volume which we are going to create, Cupid's bow, how we are going to create it, the physical columns if we are going to describe them well. We are going to see the vertical lip lines if they are or not present, the lip borders, the chin crease, the marionette lines, the jawline surrounding the lip, the nasolabial lines, as well as the accordion lines. When they are treated along with the nose in harmony with lips, we get the best results. The treatment choice could be not just fillers but also fat transfer, implants, lip flip done by Botox, could be surgical margin manipulation and bullhorn techniques, etc. for lip lift. The reconstructive techniques for post-traumatic scarred lips can be used. Combination of various of these with energy-based devices generally gives the best results. The various countries have been associated with various lip techniques. The Russian lip, though described in various countries, but is majorly followed in Russia. The main features of it are good height, especially central lift, with heart-shaped lip appearance after the procedure, and a very well-defined border and an edge. The cherry lips are famous in Korea, where they have a plump center, the upper tubercle and lower two tubercles. It is majorly the medial 1/3 or middle 1/3 of the lips which are taken care of. In cherry lips, the left edge filler is then injected at the corners to give a subtle smile. The Parisian or the French lip technique is a very soft, balanced, understated enhancement of the lips where they look very natural. Hollywood or kissed lips are generally described for accentuated Cupid's bow with bold glamour effect. Advanced denting and is advancement of the Russian technique where high focused vertical injections are injected and various pyramids are created. The hyaluronic pen is also used in Turkey for the non-needle injection. The breakdown of common lip augmentation techniques so that we are able to achieve Russian or French or Indian in between are basically what we use in rest of our face, that is linear threading, serial punches, depot or bolus technique, micro droplet technique, fanning, cross-hatching, tent technique. So we can combine all these things along with maybe some Botox to have a little lip flip so that we can, especially in M-shaped lips where we can manipulate the muscular action. The phi ratio, if targeted, can be achieved if we combine all these procedures. The 4.3 technique has been recently described. It is basically just four entry points where the Cupid's bow, both the edges on the vermillion, they are chosen and the needle is entered into the muscle. Some injection given as a linear threading, and from the same hole it is the vermillion border subcutaneous injection which is given. It is repeated on both the sides and then further advanced on the vermillion border laterally. 3 points are chosen for the lower lip where 0.05 ml is injected into the lateral aspects of the lips, and 0.1 or 1 ml, 0.1 ml is injected into the middle aspect of the lip. The various shapes, like the heart-shaped lip, it is created for, as we had already described, for more rounded or squarish faces. The Cupid's bow is very sharp in this case, and the volume is distributed into the tubercles in the lower lip. The major volume work is done within the medial 2/3 or middle 2/3 of the lips. The Russian lips, they have a sharp border and vertical dents are created along with the lower lip, which is volumized. The volume here is not for the frontal roundness but majorly for the height. The classical or natural lips, they entail more of a French or Indian technique where it is individualized to give the natural look to the patient. The vermillion border and the body of the lip is injected by the needle or with a cannula, and it is generally the linear threading method which is used. The fullness and roundness of the lips, they can be achieved by combination of the above techniques as well as maintaining the vertical ridges of the lip. So generally it is the vertical injection technique which are non-denting. The pearl lips give volume majorly in the center and both tubercles in the lower lip. So center for the upper lip and both tubercles for the lower lip. A skilled injector will assess your lip anatomy, skin structure and face before recommending a filler shape. The complications for lips, they are pretty similar to the other filler complications and are managed on the same lines. However, if there is a small amount of filler which is appearing as a bluish tinge, we can simply puncture it with a maybe 20 gauge needle or an 18 gauge needle and withdraw it so that it is no more showing as the Tyndall effect or as a small nodule in the lip. It is being shown here, a small puncture after pinching the lip. Generally, local anesthesia is not required. If you pinch it well, the lip becomes numb, and here the extra filler which is lying in the subcutaneous place or in some lateral salivary gland is extruded and the patient goes back without the hyaluron days. The risks and how you can choose the safest lip filler style again depends if you respect the anatomy of the patient and choose the right type of filler and work after a good training. Now, lip filler for India, whether we have to be more like Russians or French while choosing the lip filler, I feel we need both Meg as well as Raphael, but also our own build Tejas. When dealing with lips, less is usually better, and don't forget to mold or massage as advised by Dr. Luthra in the last lecture. Russian or French with Indian in between, I believe it is your choice, and we need to have all of them in our armamentarium. Thank you. Thank you so much.